You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion. Delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots, you know, the actions you can take how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest and repeat offender on Ron Siegel Radio. Welcome back, Danny DeNovo, happiness expert, the queen of happy. Welcome.
Oh, it's so good to be with you, Ron. Glad
to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And, of course, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio, National Beach Day. And if you follow me on any of the socials, and I'm on most all of them, you know that that's one of my favorite places in the whole world is being at the beach. Most weekend mornings, if I'm in town, holiday mornings, you can find me down there walking Balboa Island, not when most people are awake. It's before the average person decides time for rise and shine on the weekend. And most people say that I'm not normal anyway. Drink coffee, walk the dog, have a little time at the beach. Toasted marshmallow day. Can you have toasted marshmallows if you don't have chocolate and graham crackers to go with them? I think you got it. They kind of just all go together. So maybe you don't. I don't know. I've never been able to get the marshmallows cooked properly. I'm not into the stickiness of it. So just give me the chocolate, the graham crackers, call it a day. Let's take a look and see what the markets are doing this minute because they've been bouncing around a lot today. So let's take a look at them. We'll see that the Dow Jones Industrial Average up 43 points. The S&P 500 up 17. The NASDAQ up 79. 82 points is popping as we speak. Oil up 15 cents a barrel. Do we want to look at gas prices? Makes me sick looking at them. $5.29 in the formerly Golden State is what we're paying for a gallon of average, mild, or regular gasoline right now.
Ow!
Thank you, Mr. President. It's nice of you to do that to us. Washington, I guess they figured they're going to pay $5.10 up there in Washington because they're going to get a tax to help the climate. Don't know how that works, how you pay taxes to help the climate, but that's what they wanted to do up there. Josh, you're still in the fours at least, 451. Not quite as bad as we are here. Sometimes you got to wonder, though, because Danny and I were talking a little before we went on air and paying a little more than this. But according to AAA, the average gallon of gasoline in Pennsylvania, $3.88. I guess they must have seen you coming, Danny, and they got you a little more than that.
Yeah, they had my number.
They had your number. And obviously, we wish everything good for our friends down south. Right now going through the hurricane. Nothing pleasant about that, but our tremendous underwriter, Lori, she's paying $3.39 a gallon. We might have to check in with her, Josh, to see if that's legit, being that Danny's number was so far off. Lori's in Louisiana, though. Let's continue on and see what else is going on in the world today. Did you see that? And this one just doesn't affect me a whole lot. Nordstrom closing their store in San Francisco. Did you see that? Now, it's a 5-story store, and they're going to make the bottom floor is going to be a soccer field. Now, I don't know. I wonder if this might be beneficial, because we know why they're closing the store. It's all the crime there in San Francisco. But does it make it harder for people to steal if they have to go up at least 1, 2, 3 flights of stairs until they can get to anything they want? Maybe they just shut down the escalator as they head down. They can't get out quite as easily. I don't know what's going to go on, but I was listening to a gentleman this morning on a business channel, and I watch a number of the business channels just to get everybody's point of view, talking about retail theft right now, anywhere between 15 and 20%. 15 to 20%. Amazing. And they don't think that that's going to filter into everybody else. They say, well, it's the stores are going to pay for it. Retail stores pay for nothing. It's kind of like these folks that think that it's going to be wise to sue the electric company in Maui. And again, major tragedy. We have all the heartfelt feelings for Maui. I love the island of Maui. But think about this. You go and you sue the electric company. Do you think they make money? They're not a government entity. It's not like the federal government where they can go spend trillions of dollars and get nothing for it. But what ends up happening is that just gets passed along to the people, right? Businesses don't pay for anything. They pass along the costs of everything. So when you hear politicians say, well, we need to tax businesses more, that's code word for tax you and me. Because again, the business just collects the tax. Who do they collect it from? Their customers, and pass it along to the consumer. So all it means is you're going to raise prices. Why does the government want you to raise prices? So they can collect more money, and then they can waste more money and give it to Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and all that. That's a whole different story, though. We'll get into that one later on. But the bottom line is think about some of these issues when you start thinking about who we're going to tax, who we're going to sue, because these things just get passed along. Now, in certain instances, yeah, you have to have some reform in there to make sure that companies are good stewards. But remember, at the end of the day, they just pass everything along to the consumer. So, yeah, like Gavin Newsom here in California, where what is it, $1.12 now is our taxes and fees on a gallon of gasoline? Over $1 a gallon in taxes and fees. What's that money? Where's that money going to? Well, it's the Gavin Newsom Bribe Me Fund. And yes, I know I say my opinion, bribe me, because 2 years ago, Gavin Newsom was giving everybody tax rebates. Now we find out that we've got a deficit in the budget. Well, let's look back and see what happened 2 years ago. Oh, yeah, we had the recall election. And then 9 months later, we had another election. So Newsom wanted to get reelected. Oh, sounds kind of like student loans, doesn't it? Yeah, but that's on the federal level. But give away the money and then try and figure out, okay, now we got a shortage, so we're going to tax you more. Why do we keep voting for the same people that do these same things over and over again? Well, you listen to it and you watch what's going on, and it always seems to be the same thing. My politician is good. It's yours that's bad. That's why I vote for mine and think you should change yours. No, watch all of them. Because I love listening to Warren Buffett. And yes, you've heard me say that I believe he's a hypocrite because he says he wants higher taxes, yet he starts an insurance company so he doesn't have to pay them. But the issue here is he says, you know something? Anytime there's a budget deficit in Washington, no politician can go for re-election. Guaranteed they will all figure out how to balance the budget. It won't take very long because the number one thing every politician wants is to keep their job. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, buyer traffic still stronger than normal in real estate. Can utility, rent, insurance, and other non-lending inquiries affect your FICO scores and happiness? We're going to talk all about that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is, you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you could retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at ronsiegelradio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You've got the phone. Make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, Geneva is lending in 48 of the United States. Likelihood is we've got a branch near you. So give us a call. I'll put you in touch. Let's see what's going on in the market today. Every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry. Calculated from actual locked rates. We don't know APR. We don't know points paid or points received. We only know the actual locked rates with consumers across 42% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. Looks like a lot of red on the screen from yesterday. We like red in this area. 30-year conforming loans down 7.131. 30-year jumbo loans down 7.366. 30-year FHA loans down 6.957. USDA loans, rural areas, generally no down payment. That's the only one that went up, 7.033, and the best loan on the market for those that earned it. That's our veterans. We thank you every day. 30-year VA loan, 6.849. That was down a little bit. And don't forget, if you want a copy, every morning we put out a little bit of a mortgage market update. It's usually 2-3 pages long, big type because I can't see the small stuff. Just go rsrmarketminute.com, rsrmarketminute.com, and we'll get you that report each morning when we put that out. And again, it's usually fairly early in the day. What's driving the markets, though? Let's look at today's numbers. 10-year Treasury flat today. S&P 500 1.66 up. Mortgage-backed securities are up 4 basis points. All that is information available on the super secret website, google.com. But why? What's driving this? Well, got the ADP employment report showing an increase of only 177,000 jobs for the month. This is for the month of August. A lot of revisions came in. The expectation was for 195,000 jobs. So, and the Federal Reserve, they've been looking at saying, the jobs market is very strong. That's why we have to keep increasing interest rates. It's not quite as strong as they think. We saw that in the JOLTS report. Second estimate of the GDP came out, increased by 2.1% on an annualized basis, below the estimates of 2.4%. Watching that one for you. Pending home sales measures signed contracts on existing homes increased by 0.9% in July, which was above the expected negative 0.6 decrease. Year over year, pending home sales are down 14%, an increase from negative 15.6 in the previous report. All that for you. That's the reasons the markets are moving. That is the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Now that I've got all that off my chest, let's talk about being happy. Danny DeNovo is with us. She is the happiness expert. Welcome.
Hello. Good morning.
Glad to have you with us. So I want to get the negative out of the way right off, and then we can talk about happiness.
Okay.
Suicides, are they going up again?
Yeah. So the CDC is reporting that 2022, we had the highest suicide rate ever.
Do they talk about what the cause is? I mean, you would think I could understand it. It was 2020, 2021, when we were all locked up with COVID and we were, hibernating and all alone. 2022, though, that seems kind of odd.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is sort of the aftermath of all of that and kind of redefining a lot of who we are or who we think we are and what we're supposed to be doing. I saw a survey that 90% of Americans believe we have a mental health crisis going on right now.
Yeah, I'd say I wonder where the other 10 are. Maybe they're the mentally ill, or the other 10, because you walk down any main street in America and you see a lot of homelessness.
Right.
And, the vast majority, I think, are probably have some sort of mental health issues. Unfortunately, I think, because I'm old, it goes back to the Reagan administration when they started defunding some of the mental health institutions. I know I used to have one maybe 20 miles from where we lived, 15 miles, and they had 7,000 or 8,000 people that were housed there, and it's gone now.
Yeah.
Just no funding for it. You gotta wonder. Are there specific groups that are falling victim to suicide, or is it just general population?
No, there's groups. Middle-aged men are very susceptible to suicide right now. We have to watch our sort of teens, young adult population. The suicide rate there is going up incredibly. And now, a really sad demographic that we're starting to watch more are young mothers, which is kind of a really sad thing to hear.
Young mothers.
Yes.
Wow. That seems like an interesting one because, other than, if you're talking about, what do they call it, postpartum disease and things like that, but you think a young mother has so much joy and well, maybe I just speak for myself. I've got 3 sons and a grandson now, and you look, they just bring so much joy all the time. Yeah, there's challenges, but that's kind of the bright spot of the day is when you get to see the kids, and so young mothers is scary.
It's very scary, and I think it does just go back to the point you were saying that we just don't know how to take care of this very well. And you have these mothers who are expecting to experience this amazing joy and this amazing time of their life and just aren't feeling that way. And then they're compounding that guilt on top of these other feelings that they can't manage. It's just too much for them to take on.
You got to wonder, do they see anywhere of people going to get help, or are they just quit?
No, I think women are much better at seeking out help than men are. Unfortunately, that's still the case. But I think that our system is just not set up to manage it very well. I mean, our mental health system from the medical standpoint is just poorly organized, poorly managed, poorly taken care of. Insurance obviously plays a huge role in everything. But, my take is always this. There are a lot of mental health professionals out there who probably aren't qualified to do what they're doing. Because when you're a doctor or a therapist and you, in a more physical sense, right? You go to school and you learn kind of mechanically how things work. And if you're a doctor, you go to medical school, you get to go in and you get to see how a heart operates, and you get to touch one when you do your cadaver lab. When you're in mental health and you have never experienced personally depression or anxiety or anything like that, it's a very difficult thing, I think, to treat when you really don't understand what's going on underneath it all. So the research and everything is wonderful, but if you've never experienced that, how do you treat it? Even, your average doctor has felt pain in some regard and understands that, but to understand the mental side of it is a completely different level, in my opinion.
That's an interesting concept, though, because as you're talking about that, I'm thinking, and I think a lot of times when people chat like you and I are, you kind of, then I go and I say, okay, let me contemplate this from my own life experiences. And so I had, I mentioned before, I have 3 sons. I think maybe it's kind of normal. My first son, I went to the doctor with my wife every single appointment that she had.
Right.
Second one, I went to about half of them. The third one, yeah, we'll see you when you get here, kid. But with what you're just saying, Danny, my wife's doctor was a man, so he helped her throughout the whole pregnancy, and he was a high risk OBGYN. But I'm assuming back in those days, they felt that men couldn't have babies. That's kind of changed a little bit, I guess, now. But so he was able to do that even though he had never experienced it. So you wonder. We got to find a way to seek help for some of these folks. Every psychologist, psychiatrist I've ever heard of, they all need one.
Yes.
So
we all need help. Yes.
You got to just wonder, because we got to figure a way. You got to solve the problems. Is I guess is my main point here, because you can't keep growing every year, having the highest suicide rate every year, and kids. They need dads, but they need moms more, I think. I'm just throwing that, my personal opinion. That becomes scary.
It is. It's very scary. I mean, you have to understand, when I first started exhibiting my symptoms of depression and anxiety, it was fluffed off by my parents, by the medical community for a very long time. So it had a chance to sort of get out of control before I actually got help. And the first therapist that I went in, told her what was going on. She told me I was depressed. I didn't really even understand what that meant. But then her response to me was, "It's okay to be depressed." That's what she told me. It's okay. It's okay to be depressed. And yes, it's okay to have feelings of depression and to work through those feelings, but it is not okay to live a life just sitting around being depressed, just being diagnosed with depression and that being the end of it. And I think that's where a lot of the medical community still is when it comes to these things.
What are your thoughts about, is there a solution to that, or is it strictly a medication solution?
I'm not a huge fan of medication. I was on medication for a huge amount of years now. I understand in some instances it is necessary and it does help people. But just, looking at it saying you're depressed and throwing a pill at somebody is not helping anyone, especially if there's medical things that are underlying the condition that can be solved. And now you've just completely, masked over that.
Yeah, and that's kind of an interesting point in itself. We want to talk about that more when we come back, is that concept that, the medication might make you feel better, but again, did it solve anything, or was it a Band-Aid? We're going to talk more with Danny DeNovo when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. We are going to also get into buyer traffic still stronger than normal in real estate, and can utility, rent, insurance, and other non-lending inquiries affect your FICO score? All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694552.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting, Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at ronsiegelradio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com. Great app. Monitor your credit scores, monitor your bank and asset accounts, monitor your home's value, and you can even check 97% of the properties across the country. Those available for sale are shown on the app as well. Buyer traffic still stronger than normal in the real estate market. Are you putting off selling your house because you're worried no one's buying because of where the mortgage rates are? If so, know this. The latest data shows plenty of buyers are still out there and they're purchasing homes today. Here's the data to prove it. The showing index is a measure of buyers touring homes. We're going to show you a graph of the latest numbers available and compare them to the same month in the last normal years to show what's going on. Again, I say normal years, 2020 and 2021. We don't call those normal, the pandemic years. As you can see, when June 2023 numbers are stacked alongside what's typical for the housing market at this time of year, it's clear buyers are still active, and they're actually a lot more active than the norm. If you're wondering how this could possibly be true, and for those of you watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, any of our socials, the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, you can see the chart. Those of you that are listening to us on ABC News and Talk AM 1490, 98.1 on the FM dial, you're seeing that right now on the chart, buyer traffic, 198.3 for 2023, 126.8, 129.3, and 130.8 going backwards from 2019, 18, and 17. So you can see way above. It's about, 50% higher now than it was during those non-unicorn years. If you're wondering how this could possibly be true, it's because buyers are getting used to higher mortgage rates and accepting them as the new reality. As Danielle Hale, chief economist, Realtor.com explains, quote, interest rate hikes continue to further cut into buyers' purchasing power, although they appear to have adapted to higher mortgage rate environment, unquote. It's simple. Buyers will always need to buy, and those who can afford to move at today's rate are going to do so. The key takeaway for you, while it's true things have slowed down from the frenzy of the last couple of years, it doesn't mean today's market is at a standstill. The reality is, buyer traffic is still strong today, even with today's mortgage rates. Plenty of buyers are still making their moves. So why delay your own move when there's clearly a market for your house? Bottom line, don't put off plans because you're worried no one will buy your home. The opposite is true. And more buyers are more active than the norm. Give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Don't forget, if you want to maximize the sales price of your property, go ahead and look at rsrsalesmax.com, rsrsalesmax.com. Give you 3 different ways to maximize the sales price of your property and get it done in the quickest possible amount of time, rsrsalesmax.com. Continue our conversation this morning. We're chatting with Danny DeNovo, happiness expert. So far, Danny, we haven't been talking about anything happy. We've been talking about depression and suicide and moms that are feeling that there's no other way other than going through some of these depressions and anxiety, and young adults getting in there. Do you think it has anything to do? And I don't know if this is true. My personal opinion, I think a lot of this stuff comes from social media. There's a lot of people that are out there that are trying to be something they're not. It's easy to get lost and think that's reality because you're hiding behind a phone or a computer screen or something like that. Do you think social media has anything to do with it?
I think it plays a role, but I don't think that we can use social media to blame the situation upon. Every generation's kind of had its thing that it's had to contend with, and people have had to adjust to. And yes, social media creates a very unique environment where you can go on there and you can spend a lot of time being in competition with someone you don't even know and feeling very badly about how you don't seem to measure up in some way, shape, or form. But I really think that social media is more of a mirror. It sort of reflects back to you the things that you need to work on for yourself. And it's good to recognize those things, but not to sit there and to wallow in them. And I think we've just really sort of created an environment where, again, we're telling people that it's okay to feel this way and to kind of enable the behavior to go on instead of finding ways to cope with how we're feeling and to be able to soothe ourselves. One of the first things that you're taught as a young mother is how to sort of let your baby self-soothe itself so that it's not constantly reliant upon you or something that you're doing, some behavior in order to calm themselves down to go to sleep or whatever. But we never really learn how to do that. And so we're going around expecting all of these things outside of us to calm us down, to validate us, to soothe us, instead of from that coming from internally, which is the same place where your happiness has to come from.
So how do you learn those things, or where do you learn those things? Where do you learn the things that are going to help you? If you have a panic attack, do you have to let it run its course, or where do you learn to recognize it and mitigate it?
Yeah, I think that's the really hard question because, again, there aren't people out there in the typical mainstream medical community who are teaching how to do that. They're giving you the thing to soothe you that you have to keep going back to, sometimes in increasing amounts, to get that same calmness, right? I've had panic attacks in the past, and they're no joke. I legitimately felt like I was going to die. I couldn't breathe. They had a pulse oximeter on my finger, and I wasn't even getting oxygen into my body at that point in time. How do you recognize it when you've never had one? You probably don't. But after the fact, I think you need to kind of go back through what was happening. And what happens is we allow our nervous systems to accumulate all of this stress and, constantly be stimulated time after time after time. We ride these waves of adrenaline and dopamine, and our bodies get addicted to that. But we physically aren't made mechanically to handle that constantly. So we have to learn these mechanisms to allow our nervous system to calm back down on its own. And again, it's not being taught at school, and it's not being taught from your primary care physician.
Well, that's where the question comes in: is whose responsibility is it? I mean, young mothers don't know it, so they're not teaching it to their kids. Maybe older mothers don't know to teach it to their kids, or don't understand it themselves. Because you want to get to a point where I would think that you don't even get to the panic attack because somebody's taught it to you ahead of time and say, okay, if this, then that. If you start feeling like you're tightening up, here's some methods to relax yourself or something along those lines. I would think maybe I'm missing something here.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think we're not really in tune with ourselves enough to know that our body is probably sending us those signals along the way. And then when you get to the point of something like a panic attack, it's just been so overloaded that it's got nowhere else to go. It just sort of unleashes everything all at the same time, and then you have zero control over it. Yeah, whose responsibility is it? Well, I think it's all of ours. I mean, I think we need to learn to self-soothe in a sense, so that we
I've
can
heard of
also.
self-medicate, but I don't know about self-soothe.
Right, self-soothe is a different thing, right? To self-soothe and to in a healthy way, and then to be able to recognize when we see symptoms developing in the people that we love, and be able to help them see that and mitigate it before it becomes a problem. But that requires a great deal of really being self-conscious of yourself and being aware of what's going on around you. And again, when you're ingrained in social media and worried about all these other things that are stimulating all day long, instead of sort of reading the energy of yourself and the people around you, then you lose touch with the ability to do that.
That's a key right there, I think. And that's, I think a lot of people have gotten out of the personal world, right? The young people nowadays, they don't even want to talk on a telephone.
No, they don't.
Right? Just text.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be in the same room as somebody because I could be on social media. And if I'm in the same room, I can be on social media. I was with a young person over the weekend, and they couldn't even have a conversation with somebody. Maybe that was only like 15 years older, but couldn't have a conversation without checking their watch and their phone,
right?
Every 30 or 45 seconds.
Yeah, they can't keep eye contact. They can't sit still. You're seeing, these increase of these service animals being everywhere. And while I think those are great to an extent, I mean, if these young people can't function without having something, again, right by their side, what favor are we doing them in the long term?
What kind of solution? Is there any solution to this? I mean, we keep getting more and more reliant on technology. Now we even go into artificial intelligence. So, are we on a downward spiral?
I think potentially we are, unless we sort of wake up and see what's happening and how to deal with it. And that's, the kind of things that I'm trying to do, the messages I'm trying to get out. So I have a new book coming out next month. And what I tried to do is put together a progressive meditation practice for people who don't understand meditation or who maybe think that it's too hard to take on. Because when you go to something like learning meditation, right, you think you've got to be in this dark, quiet room and you have to do it perfectly. And if you're not spiritual or religious in some way, there's nothing to it. But it can be as simple as just acknowledging your breath for a few seconds. That is enough to really reset your nervous system to the point where you can tune into yourself and allow yourself to self-soothe. And you can do that anywhere, anytime throughout the day.
I want to talk more about your book when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. Can utility, rent, insurance, and other non-lending inquiries affect your FICO scores? We'll chat about that as well. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com. Are you tired of paying rent? Are you tired of paying someone else's mortgage? Do you know qualified folks can potentially purchase a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket? Ron Siegel can help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. If you're tired of paying someone else's mortgage, reach out to Ron today at ronismylender.com. That's ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey friends, do you dream of mortgage-free home ownership? Are you aware that even if you own your home free and clear, it could still be costing you thousands per year? The Siegel Lending Team can help you generate tax-free income, accumulate family wealth, and maintain ownership of your home. By simply emailing your most recent mortgage statement, you'll receive a no-obligation real estate plan. Learn more by calling 1-800-306-1990 or email me your recent mortgage statement to pear@ronsiegelradio.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at ronsiegelradio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report and it is wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer has these solutions for you. Can utility, rent, insurance, and other non-lending inquiries affect your FICO scores? A credit inquiry is a record of when an entity checked your credit report. From Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, sometimes inquiries posted within the last 12 months can impact your FICO scores. Generally, this happens when there's an inquiry associated with an application for credit and the lender checks your credit report. But many types of non-traditional lending organizations may also want to check your credit, including phone carriers, insurance companies, utilities, employers, and landlords. Generally, the inquiries from these credit checks do not affect your FICO scores, but some of them might. To understand why, let's take a closer look at how credit inquiries are classified and which inquiries FICO scores consider. Hard inquiries versus soft credit inquiries. Credit inquiries can be thought of as either hard or soft inquiries. Both types of inquiries stay on the credit report for 2 years, and the distinction is important because soft inquiries are not considered by FICO scores, but hard inquiries posted in the last 12 months can affect FICO scores. Hard inquiries happen when an entity checks your credit for a lending purpose. When you make a request or apply for a new credit, this could happen if you apply for a loan or credit card, or when you ask your credit card company to increase your credit limit. A soft inquiry is generally the result of a credit check for non-lending purposes, such as when you check your own credit report. Soft inquiries also can happen without your permission, but only if the entity has a permissible purpose to request your credit report. For example, credit card issuers will often pre-screen your report and score to determine if they want to offer you a pre-approved offer of credit. Getting set up to pull credit bureau reports. Not just anybody can pull credit reports. Entities need to be reviewed and approved by the credit bureau before they can start accessing consumer credit reports. If the entity is approved to pull credit reports, the credit bureau assigns the organization a unique subscriber code or member number, which typically includes information regarding the entity's kind of business, like an auto lender, a credit card issuer, employment agency, etc., which can be used to help classify as soft or hard inquiry. For example, an inquiry for an employment background check would be a soft inquiry, while an inquiry to set up for a finance company would be a hard inquiry. Many lenders offer multiple types of credit, and they may be assigned multiple subscriber codes or member numbers. Which inquiries that never affect your FICO scores? Some credit checks always result in soft inquiries, including inquiries from, you can check your credit report or score. MyFICO.com is our go-to for that. A credit bureau uses your credit report to create a list of consumers for a creditor that wants to send pre-approved credit offers. I hate those. I'm sure you've got many calls about your extended auto warranty. Go to optoutprescreen.com, optoutprescreen.com, and do not call.gov. Do not call.gov. Both of those are services to get you off of these sales lists. A utility company checks your credit to determine your security deposit amount. An organization checks your credit for employment purposes. An insurance company in some states Company checks your credit report when you apply for a new policy. These soft inquiries will never affect your FICO scores. They might not even appear in the credit reports that lenders receive when checking your credit. Focus on the most important factors. FICO scores only consider hard inquiries in certain circumstances, and even then, a single new hard inquiry will generally have a minor effect on your score, often a decrease of less than 5 points. New inquiries might be important if you're closely monitoring your credit before applying for a new loan, but using credit accounts, having a low utilization ratio, and making your payments on time at the right time will be most important. That would be go to rsrccpayment.com, rsrccpayment.com, and you can see when the right time is to make those credit card payments. rsrccpayment.com. Continue our conversation this morning, chatting with Danny DeNovo. She is the happiness expert. So, Danny, tell us a little bit about the new book you've got coming out. Maybe you can even tell us about the old book.
Well, the first book that I wrote was called Get in a Good Mood and Stay There. And it was about my journey of pulling myself out of being this person who was constantly anxious, constantly depressed. Nothing was working. And what I did, trial and error, things I did to pull myself out of it and to start living a happier life. And so this next book is called Show Me My Miracles for Today. And I know that kind of has a religious undertone for a lot of people. I'm a spiritual person. I'm not religious. I definitely believe in God, but I don't follow a religion. But I really have come to terms with the fact that there are amazing things that are happening in our lives every single day, regardless if we want to acknowledge them or not. And when we take the time to acknowledge those things and to slow down our minds and our nervous systems, amazing things start to happen, both physically, mentally, and emotionally for us. So what I wanted to do is put together what I call a progressive meditation practice, which starts you out at some very easy things that you can do every single day when you're sitting in your car, right before you're about to eat, right before you go to bed, and then showing you how to increase those in longevity and in strength so that you can get to the point where you are able to take a very anxious nervous system and calm it down so that you have control again and that you're feeling good most of the time.
So it sounds to me like I'm going to have to ask a big favor of you, Danny.
Okay.
So if I got a book like this from my wife,
Yes.
I'm going to probably get shot. Not literally. I mean, she's going to, what are you telling me? I'm anxious. I mean, just listen to me and you won't be anxious anymore. But if you send it to her, it might be able to, it might solve some problems.
Right. And I wouldn't even want to say to someone, give it to someone you think is anxious, right? It's not about saying you're anxious or saying you're depressed or having to admit to anything. Who out there doesn't want to feel better every single day? Who doesn't want to feel alive? When you get out of bed and your feet hit the floor, who doesn't want to be like, yes, like I have this today. It's going to be a great day. Who doesn't want that feeling legitimately? Not trying to, put on a mask again and say, yeah, it's going to be a great day. No, like legitimately feeling that way. And that's what this book is designed to do, is to rewire the brain so that when you wake up, that's how the day starts.
Okay, so I can tell my wife she needs to have her brain rewired.
You could say
I'm
that.
not sure I'll get to you through year 37. I mean, we made 36.
Or you could say
that I might not be able to get.
Yeah, I love you so much, and you are an amazing person, and I want you to get everything that you can get out of every single day, and that's why I thought this book might be good.
There we go. Okay. So when's the book coming out?
It's coming out on September 12th on Amazon.
September 12th on Amazon. Would have been my mom's birthday. Okay. And are you doing it for those of us that can't read? Are you doing it in Audible?
I will be doing it in Audible, yes. And I just want to mention, too, that the first 2 weeks of all profits that I get from it, I'm donating to a group here in Pennsylvania. It's a nonprofit group called I Am Fine that is dedicating their services to helping people who are in crisis from depression, veterans, people with PTSD, young mothers, anyone who's just kind of going through this thing and doesn't really understand how it's taking over them. It's a way to help them express those feelings so that they can get to the heart of it.
Is it available for pre-order yet, or do you have to wait?
You can pre-order today. Yes, you can.
Okay, and it's called
Show Me My Miracles for Today.
Miracles for Today. Okay, Show Me My Miracles for Today. Love that idea, and it's coming out on September 12th. Pre-order right now. I'm going to send it anonymously to my wife, and that way I don't get in trouble.
All right, good.
Gotta love it. I appreciate you coming on and sharing this with us, Danny. I appreciate sharing your story and opening up to our audience so we can try and find better ways to enjoy life and enjoy society and watch others do the same. And again, Show Me My Miracles for Today is the name of the book. Danny DeNovo is the author. September 12th. And as always, I ask at that first radio preset button to come back and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.